Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Steve Westman, live Audiophile Roundtable. Hope you're having a great day. Now, we're heading into 2026. Something interesting is happening in the world of audiophile. The industry is finally showing its cards. And I say that, well, labels are making moves, pricing models are shifting. We're sort of understanding now sort of what the price point is for an audiophile. We can get into that today. Pressing plants, there's lots of options there now, we're finding. Now, the real question for today is simple. What direction is this actually going? Is the future bright for audiophile vinyl in 2026, or are we entering a reset? This isn't about hype, the show today, or nostalgia. It's about reading the signals right in front of us today. Now we have Rhino Hi-Fi, always expanding. Analogue Productions, consistent. We know what to expect out of them. MoFi seems to be stabilizing. Universal with their vinyl file label coming out full force. Capitol Records has an audiophile section now. We've got the smaller record labels such as Analogue October Records out of the UK from my friend Craig. Now, I don't know. These aren't random events. I think these are indicators of what 2026 is shaping up to be. So today we're breaking down from a real world collector, audiophile, industry watcher perspective, what looks promising, what looks shaky, and what's still unknown, such as maybe certain pressings that we want audiophiled, maybe that happens in 2026. Cross your fingers. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see how realistic, how meaningful these releases are, how this whole audiophile industry moves forward in 2026. So I've set the table. I want to bring in Martin Strong. He's got weekly picks. He even promised a rant today to help me break it down from multiple angles. And he's already smiling. He already knows. Welcome.
Hello, Steve.
I set the table for you. I like that hello, Steve. I think he did that last time, but you said hello, Stephen. So I mean,
hello, Stephen.
There you go. Welcome.
Yeah.
We're not soggy any longer. I don't know if you guys in anywhere other than the Pacific Northwest probably don't realize how much rain we got here. So it's over, hopefully.
Yeah, I was watching CNN and the American coverage of it in just south of the border around Seattle. It was bad. Yeah. A lot of flooding.
Well, there's still roads closed between, Hope and Abbotsford, just in the Fraser Valley, just east of Vancouver. So it's pretty ugly still around there. And if it rains again, well, look out. Mm-hmm. But we're not here to talk about rain. We're here to talk about 2026 audiophile, the industry, where it's going. And I'm excited about that because I think there's a lot of opportunity this year. I wanted to bring you in to I want to analyze it with you. You've been doing this for a million years now in the industry, which I really admire in terms of your knowledge. So I think getting you here and talking about that today and breaking it down is going to be part of the fun.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, I've worked in radio my whole life and worked pretty closely with the record industry. Yeah. And it's interesting what's going on now. I think it's really exciting. Like not only the big labels, obviously Universal into this whole thing is quite exciting because all those titles that Universal has, but also tons of little labels are doing some great things.
Well, can I just stop you right there then? In terms of a little label, so my friend Craig from Analogue October Records sent me this. Take a look. Neil Ardley's Kaleidoscope of Rainbows. It's a double LP. Mastered by Miles Scholl from Abbey Road Studios. Craig, thank you so much, guys. If you don't have this record, I'm gonna actually put his website up because I mean, talk about wanting to promote smaller labels as well, right? I mean, that's the thing. It's not just about the big labels; it's also about the smaller labels too. So I want to put the website up for everyone so they can have a look at it and promote it, right? Because I mean, that's what I'd like to do here. And I can't do that right now. But have you heard this album before?
No, I've never seen that album. Love the cover.
Amazing sounding. I think this is something that if you're an audiophile, just absolutely incredible in terms of a smaller label. This is Analogue October Records. I mean, it comes with an incredible booklet too. Here's the tape box. You guys that like tape boxes, there it is. And then of course, the whole mastering, the process, and then Miles Scholl also does a whole breakdown here of his mastering process of the record as well. So, yeah, I mean, I listened to it last night. I just received it. So, Kaleidoscope of Rainbows.
Wow.
Analog October Records is the website. Unbelievable.
Shiny.
Unbelievable.
Shiny cover.
It's very shiny. It's a glossy cover. Glossy cover.
Mm-hmm. And right? I guess Miles Scholl, he's sort of the king of the half-speed master.
And I should say that, I didn't even mention that. There's the website right there. Analog October Records and half-speed mastered by Miles Scholl. 2 LP says their collector's edition. So I'm really impressed with this. Again, the smaller labels I think we need to support as well, based in the UK. And Craig, thank you for this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I don't really know the difference between like half-speed master and what that means. I've read both sides of it. Some people say it's a gimmick. Some people say it's great. The half-speed masters that I've got recently, I got a copy of David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust. And it's a half-speed master. And I think it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So
that was a really well-recorded record to begin with too. So it does help. But no, I really want to talk about 2026, sort of what we can expect going forward as well. And before we do that, sort of a side note, do you like movies?
I do. I watch a lot of movies.
So there is this movie called Blue Ruin. Have you heard of that one?
I looked it up. You had mentioned it, and I've never seen it, never heard of it. Well, and I watched the trailer, and it looks pretty tense and action-packed.
So it was one of the first crowdsourcing movies back in 2013, 2014. So it was, they needed to raise money for it. It's more of an indie thing. But what attracted me to this movie, I know we're completely off topic and I think it's kind of fun, but it's really underrated, and it hit me hard. I mean, this movie is the exact opposite of what we're used to watching in shows like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. Mm-hmm. And why is that, you're going to ask? Well, because you got Walt, you got Jesse, you got Saul. These guys operate with almost superhuman precision, right? They get the right information at the right time. The right people magically appear. Their plans perfectly line up normally. And then nothing goes wrong, it seems. And they have that sort of sense of control, right? But with Blue Ruin, there's none of that, Martin. There's none of that. This is what revenge actually looks like in the real world. If you and I were the protagonist, Dwight is the protagonist in this movie. And trust me, he's not a hero. He's not tough. He's not trained. He's no Heisenberg. He's no Walter White. He doesn't have a plan B, C, or D. He's just a broken, grieving man who's emotionally shattered by trauma. So what does he do? Well, he wants revenge. I mean, just like a normal person in these situations, he panics, he messes up, he improvises, he bleeds, he freezes, he gets scared. And that's the beauty of this film, and that's why I wanted to embrace it. It's just not a fantasy version of revenge here. It's no perfect shots, there's no clever speeches, there's no brilliant takedowns. It's just a real person, Martin, stumbling through an impossible situation with raw emotion and zero skill. Blue Ruin. I don't know if I described it the way I should, but man.
Wow. Oh, look at there's a guy with a gun and a guy.
Yeah. And Blue Ruin, and he's driving like this old 1988 blue Bonneville. Remember those Pontiac Bonnevilles? I believe that's Blue Ruin. And it's got gunshot holes in it and stuff. So
wow.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm over that. But that was my rec. I don't normally talk about movies, but I thought that would be kind of fun.
Yeah. Patrick wrote, or Sergeant Major wrote Blood Simple Blood Simple-esque, which is Blood Simple is Coen Brothers movie, which is just the greatest.
And Blue Ruin is also already considered a cult film classic. I believe that. See, it's just you and I going out to do revenge. We're not Heisenberg here. We don't have the plan that's going to work. Like, it's just seamless. And when you watch these shows, there's nothing seamless about Dwight's character.
That's great. I've been watching Pluribus. That's the new Vince Gilligan show that he did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It's pretty interesting. It's very slow. I don't know what.
I watched the first episode and I felt that too.
Yeah.
But Kim from Better Call Saul's in it, so love her acting. So no, it's been.
Yeah, it's very.
Leland says nothing will stop Breaking Bad. I'm not saying anything will, because that is the ultimate. I always found with Breaking Bad, and I've watched the series 2 or 3 times. When I watch a couple of those episodes, I go to bed and I have nightmares. And the reason why I have nightmares is because a normal person in that situation, look what could happen to you if you basically follow that path. It's not a pretty path.
Yeah.
Pretty scary. So I have another thing too. I had a birthday a couple weeks ago, and my friend, yeah, thank you. I guess I feel old. So our friend Josh from High Fidelity Records, here's his website here. He sent me a birthday gift, if you can believe it. High Fidelity Records, Josh, look what he sent me.
Oh, nice.
So this is the Mobile Fidelity Nirvana's Nevermind gold CD, and if you've watched Steve Hoffman on my show, he says these are the CDs that have sound the closest to the master tape. And I will say, this is freaking amazing sounding. I was really impressed with it, and I wanted to thank Josh for sending this to me as a birthday gift, and really impressed with it. So this is the Mobile Fidelity gold CD. Love it. Absolutely love it. So news of the week. Well, we can start with Rhino Hi-Fi. I mean, here's the question I have for you, Martin. Are we not men?
We are Devo.
We are Devo. So that's what was released here. Everyone's saying, hey, that looks like Tom Brady. Well, that's actually Chichi Rodriguez, the golfer. There's a golf ball behind him there, silhouetting him, as you can see. So that's Chichi, the late Chichi Rodriguez, the golfer. And it's really funny. I showed this record months ago because I knew it was coming out in hi-fi. And that was one thing I was, going back and forth on, saying, hey, it looks like Tom Brady. But yeah, it's Chichi Rodriguez. Not Tom Brady, but they do look alike. So,
and you can find that what they took that from. There is a sort of a similar illustration of Chichi Rodriguez that looks slightly different than this one, and it's kind of spooky when you see it. It's very weird.
What do you think of the choice as a hi-fi? I mean, I think people are pretty excited. I'm not sure if you've read the comments on the Rhino Hi-Fi Facebook group. Everyone seems excited about it. I mean, this record was released in 1978, produced by Brian Eno, right? I think it was recorded in Germany or somewhere like that, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Connie Plank's studio by Brian Eno. Brian Eno produced it.
That's right.
And this is my original copy. This is a Canadian copy, and the cool thing about the Canadian copy, it's marble vinyl.
Whoa, we're cool here in Canada, eh?
Yeah, one of those weird things where Canada gets something special, but I don't think it came out.
How's it sound?
It sounds great. I listened to it yesterday, and I haven't listened to it in years. And not only is the sound great, it's Brian Eno brings a kind of a warm sound that a lot of the alternative music in 1978 didn't have, and but also the music, it has aged really well, because I was thinking, it's going to be odd and sound really weird and discordant, and it just sounds great. And do you remember the song Uncontrollable Urge? It's got that long instrumental run up, and I remember the first time I heard it in years was watching the movie Life Aquatic, the Wes Anderson
film. Yeah.
And there's a great scene when that music just sort of just builds, and that's when I fell in love with it again. But I remember Devo from back in the day. I saw them at the Commodore Ballroom.
Well, hold on, you saw them. I have this here. What is this I'm looking at?
That is a photo that I took in the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver.
What year
I
would
believe
that be?
That's their second world tour. That's from their second album, Duty Now for the Future. They were supporting that thing. In those days when they would let you just walk in, I was like 17 years old. I was too young to get in because you're supposed to be 19. And I was carrying a big 35 millimeter camera, and they didn't care.
Back in the day, as they say, huh? Well, everyone carries cameras now. Remember when you couldn't go to concerts? You go to concerts, you couldn't take in cameras or recording equipment. Like, they searched your bags and weren't allowed it. Now it's like, well, everyone has, iPhones. You can do whatever you want with them as well.
Yeah.
But are you tempted to buy the new Rhino Hi-Fi of Devo?
This is one I am sort of tempted. I try not to. Like for example, Electric Warrior, the T-Rex one.
We haven't even talked about that. You're jumping ahead on me, but
I don't want to jump ahead.
Yeah.
That's one that I don't really want to buy, because I have the 2017 one, and
that's the Warner one by Kevin Gray as well.
Kevin Gray, and
the same. Everyone, if you don't know, the same tapes were used as the ones Martin is holding up with the one that is just released through Rhino Hi-Fi. The difference being, of course, Kevin has had a significant upgrade of equipment since 2017. Would be the difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have this one. So this one I'm not as tempted. but I would love to hear this Devo album. I definitely would.
I agree with Rick's Satisfaction. Great cover of that song. I do agree with that 100%.
There's a great story. You know, the song, yeah, 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 yeah.
I love that one.
Mark Mothersbaugh, when they were just starting out, I don't even know if the album came out yet. They were at Max's Kansas City in New York City, and they were doing a show. And after the show, they were all at the van loading up all their stuff. And John Lennon comes walking out with a bunch of his pals, and this was during his lost weekend too, so he was probably really drunk. And he walks up to Mark Mothersbaugh and he goes, yeah, 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 yeah.
That would be cool.
And Mark Mothersbaugh said, yeah, he realized what that was, which was sort of a take on She Loves You, yeah, 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 the old yeah, yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So, and I didn't even think about that it's sort of a weird mashup of old-fashioned rock and roll, the yeah, yeah, yeahs. And I thought that was really cool.
I just saw a comment here. Steve, more Easter eggs. My sticks. No, I'm just representing. This is my Canadian audiophile, the A&M audiophile label that came out in the 80s. This is the Styx album. I listened to it this morning, so I just had it out.
The Styx. Oh yeah.
No Easter egg there. No. Okay, so maybe you're tempted to buy that. So I think Rick's was saying, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. It was a single from that record. And then remember Jocko Homo. That was also another big one as well.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, they're from Ohio, right? Akron, Ohio. That's right. I was trying to think of where they're from. I mean, I hopefully they're really well embraced by Akron, Ohio. I'd really hope they are. 'Cause, I mean, these guys are underrated in a way.
Well, Akron, Ohio, back in the day, was the rubber capital of the world. I think that's where all the tires
that's right.
And yeah, it's funny because when they came out, they were so new and so interesting, and then they kind of got popular quickly early on. And the real hipsters, I remember there was a time when Devo was not very cool. They got uncool. And then they lasted through that, and then they came back. And then documentary, I don't know which platform it's on. Have you seen that new documentary about Devo?
I haven't yet, no.
Oh, it is a must see. It's so interesting. It's really good, and you get a sense of how much of an art project the whole thing was. It was really
where can we find it? Is it on Amazon, or where would we find it? It's on. I'm showing Netflix here.
Yeah, it might be Netflix because I saw it, and it was really interesting because they talk about how they started. Like they were all going to Kent State University where the shooting happened.
Yeah, right.
And like 4 students were shot.
Netflix.
There you go. And also Chrissie Hynde of the Pretenders was there on campus at that time too. So it really affected. It really affected them and how they saw the world and
look at these videos.
The whole idea of de-evolution.
Some fun stuff back then, I'll tell you.
And some great eyewear from Mark Mothersbaugh. Also had great glasses.
So Mazzy's up, says the doc is excellent. Now I haven't watched it yet. Definitely have to watch that. And yes, it's on Netflix. So
yeah, it's kind of a must see because I always thought of Devo as being, sort of satirical and, mildly political about, the current climate of everything. But then you watch this documentary and you realize they really had a sort of vision of what they were trying to say about society. And it was like a big, massive art project. It's very cool.
So I guess you're going to get the new Rhino Hi-Fi then, it sounds like.
I think I've just talked myself into it.
That's just what I'm thinking. You sold it to yourself.
Yeah, because I've got the marble vinyl. So I've got that going.
It's good to compare. Kind of fun.
And like I have speaking of the future of the industry, I really worry sometimes. I don't want to be one of those people who buys like 12 copies of the same album. I worry. I don't want to be that guy. But sometimes I get it. especially when it comes out in this beautiful thing, like we'll talk about it later, but the Sinatra record that came out, I got that one too.
I want to talk about that because that, just so everyone knows, this is the first Sinatra record I've ever purchased. I'm not a big Frank Sinatra fan. I know we'll talk about this one, but this is In the Wee Small Hours, Tone Poet. Joe Harley, my friend Joe, and Kevin Gray got together on this one. We'll talk about this. And it was the backup tapes they used to cut this. It was the tapes that were not used for what, 70 years to make this record. So it does sound fantastic. We'll talk about that in a bit.
And the only thing to remember about Sinatra is it's Sinatra's world. We just live in it.
Ah, good to know. So you jumped ahead on me. So that was Rhino Hi-Fi. What else came out? So we got Electric Warrior.
Right.
You're going to bang a gong, or what are you going to do with that one?
Yeah, I mean, this is like, what a great album this is. It's so
Do you need another one, though? I mean, do we need another copy, the upgraded 2025 with upgraded Kevin Gray equipment? Do we need it? Do you want it? Do you want to be a completist? I've got the MoFi. Yeah,
and this is a Rhino release, and it sounds great, and it's a tip-on jacket, so I don't really
same tapes used.
But if you don't have it, then that's great.
For 40, what are they going for? $40, I guess, $50.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was mentioning, Kevin should do tube cuts of these. Well, I mean, look at the Rhino Reserves with Matt Luthen's. Those are tube cut. So we're getting the best of both worlds. They're using Doug Sax's equipment for those. I don't know. I think we're getting the best of both worlds on what's happening as well. So then
it's freedom of choice.
Exactly. No one has a gun to your head. So Vinylophile, Universal, I mean, they're coming out with some big stuff. The first 4 came out. Does anyone I haven't really read much about that. I know I've read a few reviews, heard a few videos where they're pretty impressed with the sound. Universal, the guys from Universal got back to me finally. They're sending me the promos, and then we're going to do a show with some of the team from, I guess it's Vinylophile at some point, maybe in the new year. At this point, we're getting late in the year, but they'll come on. So that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad that Universal's kind of getting into this because they have so many titles. Like Get Happy by Elvis Costello. Please release that in an audiophile version.
That would be great.
Yeah.
If someone likes Excitable Boy, I think you're a big fan of Excitable Boy. The Rhino Reserve, Excitable Boy is excellent. The Chris Bellman did a great job on that one. It does sound excellent. It's a great sounding record, the Rhino Reserve. Yeah. You had that last time you were on the show. You actually talked about that one.
Yeah, I love that record. I love that Rhino Reserve release. And it's
What did you like about the sound of the Rhino Reserve? Like, what were you hearing that really drew you to it?
Well, it's already a great sounding record. I have the Canadian original release, and just the warmth of it, that sort of California sound, that Jackson Browne produced kind of warmth, and it already sounded great. But the new one, it just sounds warmer. And then the highs just kind of come out and tickle your brain. I don't. It just sounds. There's lots of space in it, and it just sounds great, and the voice sounds great. I don't know. I've got to work on my pontificating about sound, I guess.
But your puns are working because someone caught on the freedom of choice.
Yeah, good. Thanks. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. It's a freedom of choice. I said, buy it if you want. And that's the thing too. I mean, I know a lot of people get disappointed some months when Rhino or whoever releases their latest and it's like not what they wanted, because everyone wants Led Zeppelin. We know that's pie in the sky at this point. So I think just enjoy what comes out going forward. I really do. I know there's going to be, I know a little bit about what's happening in the Rhino Hi-Fi world next year, and there's some good stuff. I think people are really excited. We already know the Black Sabbath. The next 2 records in chronological order will be out at some point. I of course don't know the dates. Others want to see some metal. I know Patrick, we've been texting back and forth. Rat Out of the Cellar would be a big one. And I think that would be okay.
Round and Round to me is just the perfect FM rock radio song. And I hope that's not forgotten, that song.
And I think I don't know if you were on last time, but I saw a little YouTube or TikTok. Bob Dylan was talking to some kids in the street.
Yeah.
and he's like, do you like Rat? And I think he said Rat, or did he say Rap? I couldn't really understand it.
No, he did. He said Rat. He goes, so what do you listen to? Do you like Rat?
So he did say rat, because I
He
went into
did.
comments and I'm like, some people said, oh, I think he said rap, some others said rat. So I went back and I actually put my phone right up to my ear and I did hear rat as well. So
I hope I didn't
Bob
mishear
Dylan
that.
is a rat fan,
I
guys.
I hope I didn't mishear that, 'cause I imagined like maybe his son uh, Jacob was probably like a teenager at that time, so maybe he was listening to Rat.
And Jacob will be in Vancouver, I think, sooner than later with
Oh
his
yeah.
Wallflowers band, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
One headlight. One headlight.
Yeah. I hope he said rat. If he did say rap, I'm sorry, but I hope he said rat.
Well, it was early. Yeah, it would have. It looks like it was from the late 80s. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, because I hear all these stories about Bob Dylan that he like he went to it was really funny. He was in Manitoba, Winnipeg,
it's my
and
birth
on
town, you know.
yeah,
Mm.
and he was on tour. This was in the early 2000s, and he went up to the house where Neil Young grew up in, and he just went there. And this weird old looking dude was walking around the yard of this house, and I think the people inside he may have knocked on the door or
Well,
something.
I can actually, I mean, being from Winnipeg, I can tell you the story. It was in the Winnipeg Free Press. He
Oh,
actually took a cab from the hotel. He was staying at the Fairmont, which is the Westin downtown. Took a cab, made the cab driver wait for him by himself. No entourage, by himself.
right.
He actually knocked on Neil Young's house that Neil Young used to live in, and the house actually looks like, you know, in Back to the Future, Marty McFly's mom's house in the 50s. It looks like that house. Anyways, knocks on the door, and the people actually let him in because he wanted to see Neil Young's bedroom. So you got to see the bedroom where Neil Young,
Right. That's right.
yeah, lived.
That
And
was the focus, the bedroom.
it's kind of creepy.
But it's so Bob Dylan, you know,
Yeah.
like I get a feeling if you got him one-on-one and you were just talking and
Hey, Bob, come on the show. Let's get him one-on-one. That'd be great.
because I saw Bob Dylan on Pawn Stars. You know, remember that show
Oh
Pawn
yeah, of
Stars?
course.
That the reality show in the pawn shop in Las Vegas. And for some reason, he agreed to show up, and Chumley, the guy on Pawn Stars,
Yeah.
he's got to find Bob Dylan in Las Vegas, and then he meets him on the street. So obviously he said, so I bet he watched the show and said, yeah, I'll be on Pawn Stars. You know, I won't do an interview with Rolling Stone, but I'll be on Pawn Stars.
Look at this. I'm getting forced to show this comment. Hate to break it, the bad news, but the recording engineer is more important than the master engineer. I'm not saying that. No, it's not. I'd love to have more recording engineers on the show, but I've reached out to many, such as Ken Scott, but these guys don't want to come on.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do? But yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
So, what's the difference between the upcoming Rat release and the 40th anniversary BMG from last year? I don't know. Is there a difference?
I wonder.
Belisario Sonic? I don't know.
Was it a 45 RPM double release? I don't think so, but those kind of bug me. I'm going to go on record. I don't.
Okay. Is
I
this
don't
a
wanna,
rant? Is this a rant?
No.
Did I introduce you saying you're going to do a rant today at some point?
Well,
I think I did.
It's sort of a rant.
Well,
it's more of a.
yeah.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
I think it's some good advice for the record industry, but yeah, you know, like for example, the Ramones. I was thinking about the Ramones. I would love to get a Rhino Hi-Fi or you know, one of the other Rhino ones of the first Ramones album, because the one I have is thrashed, and I would love to get that, but I'm not going to buy a double 45 of the Ramones first
So
album.
Martin Strong is not a proponent of 45 RPM albums. Let's just put it out there.
It's not a hot take or anything, but I just can't understand.
Because you have a gym membership already. That's why you don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't get the appeal. I guess some people do, but I like the historical feeling you get from the re-release of a classic old album. You get this nice clean copy of this great old album, but it feels like the original.
I think with 33 RPM, a lot of us who have owned these albums or records in the past, it's nostalgia as well. You don't want to change sort of that feel to it or the way you remembered it in terms of the track listing. And that goes back, I mean, we've talked about this a million times, but Abbey Road by the Beatles on 45 RPM would be the silliest, weirdest,
Yeah,
craziest, not going to work for anyone idea. Not that it would ever happen, but I couldn't
yeah,
deal with it.
yeah. Because I mean, it might as well be on CD if
I
you
think
ask.
Rat would sell well in a Rhino Hi-Fi.
Yeah,
I'm again gonna go. I mean, I gave Patrick Milligan from Rhino a big list of metal albums as well, and Rat was on my list. So
yeah.
gotta go back to the drawing board.
Worried about the amount of people that actually like Rat. I think I don't know if it's the lead singer, one of the members of Rat, his uncle was Milton Berle.
Come on, really?
Yeah, it's true. That's why Milton Berle's in a video of Rat.
I did not.
I always
I
get
did
that mixed
not
up
know
with
that.
there was this band called Jackal, and I don't know if it was a Canadian thing, but they had a brief moment on rock radio in the 80s, and it was Pete. The guy's name was Pete Ravine, and he was the son of Ravine,
Ah,
who was a very famous
hypnotist.
hypnotist. Yeah, and he would. I think he would roam the land doing these shows in theaters where he would hypnotize people and make them cluck like chickens on stage and stuff.
Is that real or is that all like fake?
I don't know. Maybe people are just so eager to participate in something when they're in front of people that they get excited. I don't know.
Weird. I don't know. But on the cover of Rat Out of the Cellar,
Mhm.
do you ever see the movie? It was a bachelor party with Tom Hanks.
Yes, I did.
Tawny Kitaen
Terrible.
is who was his wife or going to be wife in that movie is on the cover of Out of the Cellar by Rat because I think she was dating. She dating the White Snake, a White Snake
David
guy.
Coverdale.
Yeah, and then he's friends with the Rat guitarist or something like that. So
Yeah, and I think she was charged. I don't know if she was found guilty.
I think she's rest in peace too. I think she's passed as well, if I'm not mistaken.
She apparently put a high-heeled shoe through the foot of her professional baseball player boyfriend. Stepped on his foot or something with her high-heeled shoe and was charged.
Look, I'm getting trolled. It sounds like I'm a Rhino employee these days. Jeez. Take his words with a grain of salt. Okay. I have no ulterior motives. No one's anyways, I don't like being trolled, so that's funny. No. Just loving records, guys. I mean, talk about all the different ones. But yeah, so Rat would be interesting. Yeah. No troll here. Okay, well. So that's probably going to get the Devo then, you're thinking?
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, it's such a historic album. It's quite great. And like I said, I was listening to it yesterday. And it's aged really well.
So then, okay, so there's another Capitol Records, the Definitive Sound Series DSS. They're coming out with a Morning Phase by Beck. Beck Morning Phase, which won a bunch of Grammys, if you recall, back in, I think it was 2014. Was it 2000? No, it wasn't 2002. What am I talking about? I think it was 2002.
No, I think it was. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was around 2010. I remember.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
I fell in love with that record.
It's a great record. Oh,
it's just so moody and it was one of those start to finish records to me that it's
right.
You listen from the beginning right to the end.
Yeah, 2014 is when it came out. So Capitol's coming out with a DSS version, so One Step, mastered by Levi Seitz on the Neotech One Step vinyl. Audio source is 9624, and they're using the original Bob Ludwig vinyl files for this one. So I'm sure it sounds great.
So does that mean it's $100?
It's $100 US.
Yeah, see that I'm not crazy about that. Especially when you can get a Rhino Reserve for like $30.
Again, I don't see anyone pressuring you to buy it. I mean, that's the thing. Buy it, don't buy it. I mean, if you like it, buy it. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. No, the sound quality of the release I have just a regular Capitol pressing of it. It sounds pretty good. All Beck albums sound great.
Yeah.
All like I can't remember any of the names, but all the ones around that time, the really moody ones, they sound great on just the regular run of the mill issues. I think sound great.
They really do. Well, Sea Change is another one too. I mean,
Sea Change, that's
I
one
know
of
Sea Change is the mobile fidelity version from years back goes for a lot of money, a lot
yeah.
of money. I think $400 or something like that. But man, I don't think you need to spend $400 if you can get the, I think it's the Bob Ludwig, I want to say the 2014 reissue or whenever that was that he did. It sounds just as good for $40. You don't need to
Yeah,
spend
that's the one
400,
that I have.
right? Whatever year that was. I really like that one. Yeah, so Capital's coming out with the DSS one step. I don't know. Going forward in 2026, I mean, maybe it's about budget for people. Maybe they don't want to be spending $125 a record.
Yeah, no, I know I don't. It's like it just I don't know. And then they come in the big fat boxes and stuff. That's but you know what's a record that I think um should be re-released? Because greatest hits albums. How do you feel about greatest hits albums? Are they
I'm more of a completist. I like the actual record itself, not just picking the best song from each album and putting it in. I just feel like I want to appreciate the whole album from the artist, more or less.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. Like greatest hits albums, I think remember the Kids in the Hall, the Doors fan guy in the record store, and he says that greatest hits are for little girls and old ladies or something. But I think there are a few greatest hits albums that are essentials, and one that I think should be re-released, even though it has kind of a cheesy cover, is this one.
Oh boy, I have that. I mean, who doesn't own that record? The Beach Boys' "Endless Summer" double LP, all their greatest hits.
And
on
there's
Capitol.
two important things about this record.
Sure.
One is it sounds great. If you can find an original US copy, or I think the Canadian ones are good too, of this record, and you can find, I bought this sealed for like $20.
Yeah.
Just a little over a year ago. It sounds great. It sounds really good. Because I remember when I first started in rock radio, the music director told me, he said, never play, because we used to play records in those days. And he said, never play a greatest hits album when you could play the actual album it came from, because it's always inferior. That sort of stuck with me. I don't know if it's like that now, but this one is amazing. So that's the first thing about this, and you can still find them. But the second thing is, this is culturally a really important record, because when this came out in the 70s, like 73 or whatever, the Beach Boys were done. They were very uncool, and think about what was happening in music in 1973, Dark Side of the Moon and all these things, and the Beach Boys were putting out albums that weren't selling, and they were kind of a lot of odd things. And this came out. I think the Beach Boys had nothing to do with it. I think Capitol just put it out, and it became huge, and it completely reinvigorated their career. And it helped some of their newer stuff that they were doing, like Surf's Up, finally get an audience. But this record was really important. And and if you look at those records like Surfer Girl, I think their second album, like that has In My Room on it, which is amazing. But it also has, there's a song called South Bay Surfer on it, and it's to the tune of Swanee River. So there's a lot of filler on those early Beach Boys albums, but there's obviously some transcendent greatness, and all the transcendent greatness is on this double LP. And I think this would be a great re-release in an audiophile format. And so there you go. Cheesy.
Maybe one day we'll have to see. I like the Beach Boys. I really do. I mean, last week I had Bruce Spicer on. He's like the historian for the Beatles, and I mean, you look at what Rubber Soul did to Brian Wilson, right? I mean, he really got him thinking about how to compose pet sounds, which I guess he locked himself in a room at that point and said, "Man, I got to listen to this Rubber Soul record." Did that, and Pet Sounds was then created not long after. But some are saying the Beach Boys haven't aged well. Just different. It's a different time. I mean, it was a different era of music, and all of a sudden they were doing really well in the early 60s. All of a sudden the Beatles came on board in 64 to the States, or late 63. And it was like, whoa, this is a different sound. And it just never was the same after that.
I don't, yeah, Cripple Creek, Carl, I recommend you go into a room and put the song In My Room, or even like Catch a Wave or something, put it up nice and loud and just listen to it and listen for the harmonies and all the, because it's kind of simple and it's all kind of naive. Like In My Room is basically about a depressed teenager,
Right.
but so it is definitely, from that kind of viewpoint, but the harmonies and just the the beauty of it is amazing, and I don't think that will ever go out of style. That's my 2 cents on that.
Well, Acoustic Sounds has the Beach Boys. They sound amazing, according to Mazzy, and the license finally ended, so no more. So that's going
Yeah,
to cost more money.
like that issue, Chad's issue of I guess it's Surfer Girl,
Right.
sounds really great. But like I say, that album, it's like a third filler. I don't know if that's sacrilege to say, but just listen to South Bay Surfer. Like go to Spotify or whatever.
Yeah,
Listen
yeah.
to South Bay Surfer. It's like to the tune of Swanee River. It's just such a throwaway track that they obviously needed to fill. So
Okay, I said it at the top. I had never purchased. I'm not a Frank Sinatra fan, so I'm glad that you're on. You can sort of help me out with this. This is my Blue Note Tone Poet series in the wee small hours. Joe Harley reissued it with Kevin Gray mastering and cutting it from a tape that had never been used to cut vinyl before. It was sort of a copy or secondary tape in the studio. Wow, this is the first concept album, I think, probably ever, before we had concept albums, going back to something like Sgt. Pepper, or like you said, Pink Floyd. This is the first concept album.
Yeah,
and
it's all about heartbreak.
It was Heartbreak. Who was he married to at the time? Was it Ava Gardner?
Well, Ava Gardner, I think I don't know if he ever got married to Ava Gardner, but according to the mythology, Ava Gardner, the actress, she was the one that he loved, but she didn't return his love.
It's very emotional, very heartbreaking. I appreciate it. What I did is wanted to study up on sort of the recording process and everything before I listened to the record. But I get it. I get how it sort of still holds up today, and it does sound really well, really good. And I think for what the price was, $50, I think it was Canadian, definitely worth it. Very happy to have this as my first Frank Sinatra album 70 years ago. So recorded during the breakup of Ava. There you go, Scott.
Yeah. So it's every song is sad. And so
if you're feeling really, really sad, maybe not the best record to listen to, maybe.
or yeah. Do you remember in Spinal Tap when they're in the limousine and the limo driver, played by I forget his name, he's a great actor, but he's talking to them, the guys in Spinal Tap, and he starts talking about Frank Sinatra and Frank Sinatra. Now that's music. When you've loved and lost like Frank has,
right?
A thing or two, and that's exactly what that. And as your first Sinatra album, that's a good place to start. It's definitely hardcore. It's very moody, but it's like a beautiful jazz album. Like this, the orchestration is amazing. It's beautifully recorded. But also the what's the album that I'm thinking of? It's a real swinging album with the I can't remember his name, but a great jazz guy. If Mazzy will know it. Is it Count Basie? I can't remember. I think it might be Count Basie.
Sad songs say so much.
And yeah, true. But it's a record of Sinatra and Count Basie, and it's swinging, and it's way more upbeat, lots of brass, and that's a good place to go to.
So I was excited. My first Sinatra album. So there it is. Live at Sahara is what it was called. But yeah, thank you.
That's great.
What else do you have?
Well, I'm sort of excited. You said bring something you have that's new. Yeah. I got this on Record Store Day. Did anybody pick this one up?
I saw a lot of people. There was a lot of copies available depending on where you lived on Record Store Day. So hang on, let me just the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, the Record Store Day version. Okay. So why is this one so special? What's going on with this, and why is this
Well,
one so
yeah,
special?
I was glad I was able to get it because I thought it might be like the Blood on the Tracks one, but it was a lot easier to get. But this one, like probably most people know this story, but if you don't, bear with me. It's the original version that was about to come out of this record. This is his second album and really his first great album.
Mhm.
And it had 4 different songs on it. And just before they released it, they changed it all up. And one of the songs on it was Talkin' John Birch Paranoia Blues, which a couple of weeks before, Dylan was supposed to be on Ed Sullivan, and he was going to do that song. And then when they figured out he was going to do this song called Talkin' John Birch Paranoia Blues, they said you can't sing it because the John Birch Society was a very right-wing anti-communist group, and it was very controversial to sing it on Ed Sullivan. And Dylan said, if I can't sing that, I'm not going to be on Ed Sullivan. So he wasn't on Ed Sullivan, but this was like 2 weeks before this came out, and nobody really knows what happened. But I would imagine the good money is that Columbia pressured him to take that song off. So they ended up taking 4 songs off and putting 4 new songs on, and that's the album that came out. But a few albums were pressed, like very few, and they showed up in the record sleeves, and the songs are listed on the cover. But apparently the ones with the original songs were in the new cover. But
Okay.
those records have sold for as much as $35,000. So it's nice that they did this. It's kind of interesting, and it sort of brings up another thing that I have. I actually have a copy of the original cover with the original songs on it. And this is a Canadian pressing. And the story of this is kind of interesting because I guess what happened was the Canadian record companies and the Canadian pressing plants, they pressed up all the covers for the first release. And then all of a sudden they get a call saying, oh, by the way, we've changed the track listing. And I don't think they had pressed the vinyl yet, but they had made the covers. So the record company was probably too cheap to get rid of them and print up new ones. So the very first edition of this album in Canada has the wrong songs on it.
Oh, wow.
And there's some revisionist history too, because you see there's a song, it's called Solid Road. But in the new one, they call it Rocks and Gravel.
Oh, wow.
Take some rocks and gravel, baby.
Well,
so maybe that's some revisionist history, because I think Rocks and Gravel sort of became popular in the last 10 years because it's been on a bunch of different Dylan bootleg albums. I first heard the song on this CD, which I bought at Starbucks.
Oh, wow. I remember those days. Well, I mean, the first Bob Dylan album only had like 2 original songs on it, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't do very well. I don't think his debut album didn't sell very well. And all of a sudden they put, what was it? Probably 10, 11 tracks of his own on Freewheelin', all composed by him. I mean, it opens with Blowin' in the Wind, and wasn't that like an anthem song back in the day? And this is mid 1963, pre-Kennedy assassination.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a lot going on. I guess, this is an interesting time for culture in the States at that point in history.
Yeah. And Dr. Bryant says, how rare is that Canadian jacket? It's rare, but you can find it. I think it's a little bit like the Zeppelin II Robert Ludwig cover.
It's there, but yeah.
I have found 2 copies in the wild over the last 20 years. I never see them anymore, but I think they go like a good one that's a good copy goes for a couple $100, but you can't find them on Discogs. They do sell them.
They're not on Discogs.
Oh no, they are on Discogs.
Okay.
You can find them, I think. I meant to say.
So what do you think of the record store day in terms of the sound? I mean, of the one that you just purchased there?
Oh, and it sounds great. That Dylan one, I think, sounds great. It's in mono, I think.
Yeah.
And I also bought the Randy Newman record, the outtakes from Trouble in Paradise, which I realize is kind of sort of a niche thing for people. Like I don't know, I know very few people who really are as obsessive. Like people are either love Randy Newman or they hate Randy Newman, I find. And I'm obsessive about Randy Newman. So I was really excited about this record, but it's really for the hardcore fan because it's outtakes from an album that, you know, a lot of people say isn't even in his top 5. So but it's still great. And I love Randy Newman. So more Randy Newman.
Bring it on. Are you a Flaming Lips fan?
Yeah, I like Flaming Lips.
This is going to come out in Rhino Reserve, I think, in the new year in January.
Yeah, that reminds me of when my kids were young.
Battles of the Pink Robots. I love it.
We used to listen to that in the car all the time.
Great album. So this will be a Rhino Reserve in the new year as well. So I'm excited.
Oh, that's great.
That one, yeah. Yeah. It'll be a Matt Luthen's tube cut.
A tube cut.
This is I think this is I want to say a Chris Bellman from a number of years ago now. 2012 maybe? I can't remember. But I thought it sounded really good. Good album.
Yeah.
What else did you bring?
Well, you know what else I'd like to see? I'd like to see this one on a
Odessa.
Because there was a pressing that came out a few years ago, but it's out of print and it's really expensive. But this is a double album, and even if you're a little on the fence about the Bee Gees, this is really good. This is pre Saturday Night Fever, and it's a great album. And you know, another album I'd like to see. I got a lot here. Some orchestral maneuvers in the dark.
Yes. Reminds me of the mid 80s. Reminds me of those John Hughes movies.
Yeah.
They did If You Leave, right? That was that big John Hughes song.
Yeah.
That's If You Leave.
If You Leave. No,
is that OAM or is that
Souvenir?
I don't know.
No, and that's
help me out. I want to say, but that was the big song from the 80s as well that I remember.
Yeah, it's the song Souvenir is the one that it's a instrumental, I think, and was just a beautiful song. That would sound good.
Yeah, OAM is If You Leave. It was the Pretty in Pink soundtrack, which I think was one of the best soundtracks. So you're talking about soundtracks and greatest hits. I like the Pretty in Pink soundtrack. It was actually mastered by Bernie Grunman from the Analogue tapes years back in '86. It had In Excess on it. It had Echo and the Bunnymen. Had the Smiths. Had that song.
And another, speaking of greatest hits album, there's not greatest hits, or this is more of a compilation of singles, but this is another one that's a essential that I think should be re-released in audiophile. The Buzzcocks singles.
Yeah.
It's a collection of all their singles, and it's just a solid banger of a record.
How much do those go for if you wanted to pick that record up in your hand?
That was re-released a couple of years ago, and it sounds okay. Sounds okay, but I have a feeling it would just sound amazing if it was in a Rhino Reserve or something.
Well, then, yeah. Is it a Warner label? I don't even know what
it's on. Actually, I shouldn't dismiss it because it actually sounds pretty good. It's on Domino, I think.
Okay.
Domino Recording. I think Domino put out John Cale, Paris 1919.
Right.
I think, and that sounded amazing. That sounded great. How about
the Buzzcocks? They're from England, I think, right?
Yes, they're from Manchester. Yeah, they're one of those bands that were in Manchester, and the Sex Pistols played in Manchester at some college campus in a little room, and pretty much every band that came out, like from the Smiths to Simply Red, all those bands, New Order, Joy Division, Buzzcocks, they were all in the crowd and watching that Sex Pistols show, and that was where it all happened. Incredible.
Speaking of a band from Liverpool that are not the Beatles, I just mentioned Echo and the Bunnymen. Now, I'd like to see that, some new stuff from Echo, like some reissues from Echo and the Bunnymen in the audiophile side.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true. I bought a reissue of Ocean Rain, which is just
Yep.
a beautiful record, and sounds good. I still have my OG copy of one of them. I'm getting mixed up. What's it called? Heaven Up Here is the one.
Ocean Rain had the Killing Moon song from Echo and the Bunnymen. And that song became, I think, more popular when the movie we're talking movies again, Donnie Darko came out. I think
Right.
it was the opening song for Donnie Darko, right? And then if you watch the director's cut of Donnie Darko, they actually took that song out and put an NXS song in instead. I think it was like Never Tear You Apart instead of the Killing Moon, which is
really?
strange. I guess the director liked that song better for that scene. And I think in the director's cut, the Killing Moon is played later on in the movie somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, Echo and the Bunnymen, would they be the second most popular band from Liverpool?
Yeah, perhaps.
Imagine following that, and they're from Liverpool, and they got to follow the.
What about Freddie and the Dreamers? Or
I wonder who would be the second most popular band from Liverpool. Would it be Echo and the Bunnymen, or what does popular mean? I don't know. I mean, it's best selling, in terms of sales of records. I don't know.
The guys who sang "Ferry Across the Mersey," those guys.
But yeah, Echo and the Bunnymen. I would like to see them. Big fan of those from the '80s. I was much younger back then in my teens, and we used to listen to the Echo and the Bunnymen tapes. Love them.
Oh, Patrick says there's a John Hughes box set.
Yes, there is.
Oh, wow.
But I have the Pretty in Pink soundtrack, and I just stick with that. I've got a couple copies of the Pretty in Pink on vinyl. I've got the CD. I've got the cassette. I'm fine with it. I don't need any more.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that. I love that record. And the movie was great in its day. I don't remember it. I haven't watched it for years. I think I have it on DVD somewhere. I should dust it off. Mm-hmm. So we talked about the Beatles in terms of anthology, and I didn't buy the full set. I just bought number 4, and Canadian I bought it on Amazon, and it was like $119. I've actually listened to it 3 times. So you know how we talk about return on your listening sort of dollar investment. I can truly say I've listened to it 3 times. It's 3 records per. I feel like I've gotten good value out of this so far, and I've really enjoyed it. And I'll probably listen to it again because I really like some of the tracks. My favorite track is "I Just Seen a Face" on side 2, track 1. Yeah. I love that version. I really do. I just thought this is really a fun listen, and I was really, really happy with it.
I was really pleasantly surprised myself.
And some are saying, "Oh, I don't like the way Real Love sounds," or "Free as a Bird" with the Mal software. And I mean, you can't please everyone.
Yeah. Well, those later records are, I don't know, they're pretty cool, but at the end of the day, they're novelties, those ones, I think. But
like you're talking like Now and Then and
Real
Love.
And I'm glad they did them. I'm glad they did them.
They did them specifically for the anthology when it came out in '94, right? Yeah. That was the big draw. I mean, I remember when they were advertising for this, it's like, oh, there's new songs from the Beatles. And it's like such an exciting time because this is before the internet. So they could only watch this during certain dates on ABC, right? And they would 6 episodes, and
I watched it on.
It was a TV event. I watched it when it was released on TV.
I watched it over the past few weeks and loved it. The Beatles are like, it's like that Al Pacino line about they keep pulling me back in. I keep especially around Christmas, around
Well, they always release something around Christmas every November, it seems.
And I always think, well, I think I've listened to the Beatles as much as I can, and then they somehow get me back in.
I think one of the arguments, and I was reading, someone posted it, or I saw some chatter about it, where eventually, you go on Spotify, all the remix ones will be the only ones the younger people will be able to listen to. They're worried that they won't have like the original sounding ones at some point. I don't know if Spotify is going to do that. I think if you look on Spotify right now under the Beatles catalog, you got the remastered ones from, what was it, 2014, I think, whatever year that was. You've got some remix ones. I mean, you've got options. I don't think they're going to take away the old ones just to replace them with all these, Mal software, Giles Martin remix ones.
Yeah, the reality of that is that they'll just sell them to you.
I mean, the Beatles is a business. I mean, this is a business. I mean, this is the one thing we need to understand. This is a business, and they'll keep putting stuff out year after year. Not what we probably want, not when we want, but eventually, there's a few things a lot of people want, like Magical Mystery Tour, the Horror Zoo edition for the German one, that they want that on AAA. Who knows what will happen? I mean, it took us 10 years to get another reissue of the mono box, right? So who knows what the next Beatles album will be. I guess we're waiting for Rubber Soul, the remix of that, and go from there.
Yeah, I can't believe they took so long. I guess they needed to do all this other
Weird,
stuff.
huh? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then some were saying, oh, maybe you can do a double album, Help and Rubber Soul. That will never happen. They're never going to do 2 albums at once as a double box set, because that would be not making money. It's going to be one box at a time.
Yeah, they'll find a way to sell it to us. So that's why I'm not worried about the original ones disappearing into the mist of time.
I think another thing is, like, if you get these remixes, and we've had this discussion on my show before, maybe an alternative cover on the remixes, just to differentiate between the original sounding ones and the new remix. And I get that as well. And then how do you replicate the Horror Zoo pressing, Steve? I mean, maybe you can't, but some people don't want to spend $100, $200 for the Horror Zoo Magical Mystery Tour. Right. So they want
That's the German one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's $120 this summer. Nice. So yeah.
Good one.
It sounds really good. Well, appreciate you coming on.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Christmas is coming up quickly. Seems to be just right around the corner, and seems to be quicker every year.
Mm-hmm.
Going in 2026, I think the future is bright for audiophile. I mean, we didn't even mention the Rhino 45 RPM with acoustic sounds. I think that's a cool little release. I don't even know when that's going to be released. I don't even know any of the release dates of that. I have no idea, but I'm excited about that.
I did have one quick thought that I wanted to say to all the record companies out there.
Okay.
It's not really a rant, but I bought this album, Foxes in the Snow by Jason Isbell. And this is an example of a small...
Put it up again. Let's see it.
Southeastern Records.
Yeah.
And Jason Isbell came out this year. It quietly came out because it's just Jason Isbell and a guitar. So it's a really mellow album, but it's a great album and I totally recommend it. But that's not why I bring it up here.
Hang on. Is this the rant? We hadn't gotten to I almost forgot the rant. So thanks for reminding me.
Oh, good, rant. Good. Yeah, because I think that this is a very important thing. So I bought this record and it came unsealed. It just came in
But here's the thing: years and years ago, these records were always unsealed. It was more like that.
I have no problem with it being unsealed. I mean, I guess there's a danger that somebody could take it out and scratch it and put it back in. But I think that's a very small problem. But it comes in this nice outer sleeve, and it has the hype sticker on it, which was on the front. But all you have to do is take the record, flip it over, and then you have the outer sleeve. And I don't know if you're like me, but I bet you are, everybody listening, that you like to have an outer sleeve. So you go out and you buy 25 outer sleeves when you're in the record store or whatever, and then you take them home and then you buy a new record and it comes in cellophane. You open the cellophane, you rip it up and you throw the cellophane away. It's just garbage. It's plastic that goes in the landfill. And then you go and you find another plastic bag and you put it in there. So why not put them out like this so that you can do that? And I know the Rhino Reserve does it. I have a small issue with that. It's got this thing on it. And then when you have to rip it, and it kind of looks bad because it's ripped, and it's also mars the front. So why don't you just put a sticker there, and then you can just flip the record over so that the sticker's on the back, and now you have the cover like that. And Acoustic Sounds does a cool thing. They have the perforated plastic. You just sort of rip the plastic off. And then
I like that a lot too. Yeah.
But I love like a good, hard, solid outer sleeve, plastic outer sleeve. So just do that, and maybe put a piece of white tape or something that you can just peel off. So think about all the cellophane plastic you could save.
Are you being environmental right now?
Maybe, maybe a little. But I just feel terrible throwing away plastic. And so record labels should do that. And I think it would be a good idea.
If you're all listening, another idea for 2026. But I think it's going to be a good year. I'm always excited. I think for me, for anyone, the more of the issue isn't the records that are coming out, it's the storage and what we're going to do with some of these. And do we wean some of the ones that we don't listen to, or we just continue having those ones collect dust? It's really something that unless you have a lot of room, fine. But then it comes down to, do you have the time? Out of a 24-hour day, you're going to be sleeping 8 hours a day. You probably work another 8 hours a day. There's 16 hours right there. You have family and commitments and relationships, everything else. How much time do you have to listen to records these days? It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. The only option is to ignore your children. That's all there is.
That's really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we have advice. So Martin Strong says, ignore your children to listen to records. And we have the rant.
They'll get older and they'll ignore you. So that's just the way it is.
All right. Okay. So ignore your children, listen to vinyl all day.
I'm kidding.
Guys, thank you so much.
Future.
Well, thank you so much, Martin. Everyone that's watching, thank you. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for someone called it an enviro rant. I love that.
Good.
So that was an enviro rant. Hang on. I saw that here. I think it was, we got to give you credit here. I saw that. It just disappeared on me. But I want to say, did you see that? Enviro rant. Here it is, Rick Spinner. Enviro rant.
It's an enviro rant. Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of. I like to think of it as Martin saves the record industry. Something like that.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. It's a lot of fun. 2026, the future is bright. Yes.